Hello there, and welcome to the Fish Tank Barn. Today I'd like to talk to you about some of my favorite tanks here in the Fish Tank Barn. I chose each of these tanks for different reasons. Some based on aesthetics, both the aquascaping and fish, while other tanks were chosen based on how well the fish in the tank were breeding. There's even one that I would say encompasses a little bit of both. So let's go ahead and take a look at my 5 favorite tanks in the Fish Barn for 2024. I want to first start out with a tank that we talked about earlier this year, and that's my 75-gallon tank that is home to my Ameca splendens. I did some tank moves this spring that allowed me to upgrade the Ameca splendens from a 40-gallon breeder into this 75. This is one of the oldest Gidead species in the hobby, having been collected by Robert Rush Miller in 1966. This is also one of the oldest colonies in the Fish Barn, dating back to 2019. One thing that's made me really happy about this tank is seeing the crypt growth since I've added the Gideads. The plants have both grown in size and number since the Gideads were added. This tank has quickly become a favorite here in the Fish Barn with its nice background aesthetic, plants, and large breeding colony of Gideads. This next tank was a tank that we talked about earlier this year as well, and this used to be one of my worst tanks and has now turned into one of my favorites. The Tropheus mplungu that inhabit this tank have settled in nicely and are doing quite well. I was hoping to see some more fry production with the bigger tank, but that has yet to come to fruition. The crypts that I planted in this tank are doing well and have grown in size. I'm really happy with this tank now, and I'm really happy with the transformation that's occurred in this tank since I've redone it. This 55-gallon tank with my Cyprichromis blue flash seems to always appear on these types of lists and has been a perennial favorite here in the Fish Barn. About 9 months ago, I planted some crypts in the middle of this tank, and they've started to grow in size quite nicely. I'm thinking that I should probably get a couple more easy planters and add some more crypts to this tank as well. I've always really enjoyed the movement in this tank and the bright colors that the males possess. This has always been one of the most fun tanks that I've had here in the fish room, and I always enjoy checking it out anytime that I enter the barn. This 29-gallon tank has been one of my favorite tanks in the upstairs portion of the barn. The original inhabitants of this tank were a group of Xenotoca islai, but I decided to put those fish out in summer tubs for the summer. I've always wanted to upgrade this group of Skiffia multipunctata from a 20-gallon tank to a 29, and I figured this would be the perfect opportunity. The crypt garden that occupies this tank has long been a blueprint for many of the other tanks here in the Fish Barn. I've really enjoyed how the plants have spread and layered in this tank, and this is something that I strive for in many of my other tanks here in the barn. The crypt garden also makes a great hiding spot for fry as well, and hopefully we'll start seeing some young Skiffia here in the near future. While not the most aesthetically pleasing tank in the fish room, this 54-gallon bow front holds a special place in the fish room since it holds one of the most prolific breeding colonies of fish that I've ever had in the barn, the Limia islai. These fish have been in my fish room since January of 2020 and have always been extremely prolific breeders. These fish are native to Lake Miragon in Haiti and have a really nice tiger stripe pattern on them. In my opinion, I think this is a fish that we should see more often in the hobby. I've always enjoyed these fish. I've probably sold more fish out of this tank than any other tank here in the Fish Barn. I hope that you enjoyed taking a look at my 5 favorite tanks for 2024 here in the Fish Barn. Well, it's gotten a little bit dated now. I'll go ahead and put up a card here from my last full fish room tour. Make sure to check it out and let me know which tanks you enjoy in the comments. So with that, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.